up to the boys? Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a penny turn red. Can't let that go down in my head, Wargaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I'm Shane, hanging out with Fox.
What's up, friends?
And we've got Churchy back
In the void.
in the void, where he belongs.
You'll notice the camera's straight.
Yes.
We're in focus.
Yes.
The audio isn't garbage.
That's
And we're just happier in general.
Of course, Churchy just lightens the room.
Yeah. Actually, because
From
he
the
turns the
void.
lights on.
Yeah.
From the void.
Yeah. So we have, first of all, before we start, we are talking about AI and wargaming.
We are talking about AI and wargaming.
But we have a couple of patrons to shout out. So a massive shout out to Stephen York.
Yorkshire Pudding himself.
That's the man. Robert Fannelson. I hope I got that right.
Flannelson. Son of flannelette shirts.
Absolutely.
I knew it. I knew he'd come round.
He's the heir of flannelette shirt
Yeah.
empire.
I used to own like 6 flannelette shirts.
Yeah.
And now I own 2. So we're basically cousins.
I feel like if you own a flannelette shirt, you're either a lumberjack or an alcoholic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's accurate.
Or you like flannel. And of course, we have Oz Wargaming.
Sorry, I just realized I did a slow sip of my brew to suggest that I was an alcoholic.
Of course, but
the people listening
they know that you handle wood.
already know that I handle wood. But that's part of the alcoholism.
Sure.
So it's all connected, really.
$20 is $20.
$20 is $20. That'd almost buy me a 4-pack. And Oz Wargaming.
Yes, Oz Wargaming.
Please, well, I'm not saying this because he is a patron of ours now. We've said this before he was a patron of ours.
Yes,
But please check out ozwargaming.com.au.
absolutely.
All of your 3D printing needs. It's great to have like a local 3D printer who dropped some fresh quality on us, but also gave us a box of stuff,
Oh, yeah.
which we have to check out.
Yes.
Because you pulled one thing out of the box, which is different to what you normally do with it. And it looked awesome.
Yeah.
So at some point, we'll go through the rest of that and show it off and see what's in there. But yeah,
Yep.
do it. Do it.
Yeah, check it out. And we also might have a link coming in the description, so keep an eye out for that.
Well, might have.
Might have.
If we have the power of technology, we could probably...
Church is back.
Church is back. Church, we need a link.
We can make it happen.
We can make it happen. Anything's possible. Sky's the limit.
That's it.
Speaking of anything is possible, AI and wargaming.
AI and wargaming. So I think there is an interesting mesh between AI and wargaming. My microphone is just slowly sagging.
Oh, I
towards-
see it.
It's.
Just tighten it.
I'm trying,
tighten
bro.
it, dude.
I'm trying.
That's the wrong one. No, it isn't. That's
the wrong one.
That's the correct one.
Thank you.
Shane, you got it. That's the correct
it.
one.
There we
Twisting
go.
knobs is his specialty, as is being a pipe wizard.
I,
A lot of homoerotica in our podcasts.
that's all right.
That's okay.
It's fine.
Part of it.
The more,
Yeah.
the more.
The more. Okay, Chief. That's an interesting mesh, you were saying.
Yeah, an interesting mesh with wargaming, our hobby as itself, and
Yeah.
AI. I feel like it can bring a lot to
Sure.
the table,
Yeah, it definitely can.
but I
Yeah.
feel like it can undermine a few things too.
I am very curious to hear what you think about the things that you've just said, which in essence is what a podcast is.
That's what we do here every Sunday.
So, all right, let's go. Let's start with, obviously, when we're talking about AI, we're talking about the, what are they called? Large language models.
They're like a big brain.
A big brain.
Yeah.
The reason it's called AI is because it's attempting constantly to, articulate itself in a way that intelligent humans do.
Sure.
But also the way that it processes content and data and then spits that back to us is intelligent.
It is. Is it though?
And it's artificial.
I'm an idiot, right?
Oh, that is so true. That's a great
Everyone
point.
knows. Everyone knows it. But the AI we have today, is it really AI?
What?
It's not self-aware, right?
It's not. Are you asking?
I'm hoping.
Yeah. No, it's
I'm
not.
hoping this ain't Skynet on this
It's,
shit.
yeah, it's not self-aware. No.
Okay.
But that's not what makes artificial intelligence, I believe.
But I think something to be intelligent has to be self-aware.
I don't know, man. Crows and chimps. First of all, you're a chimp.
Oh, no.
And you're intelligent for a chimp.
Wait, intelligent?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I think animals are intelligent. But yeah, I don't know.
But that, like, a crow knows what it's doing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like, it's like, I'm picking this out of this bin.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that ChatGPT knows what it's doing. Oh, he asked me about this thing. Oh, I'll answer about this thing.
Yeah, but it's just like
in a way that
just
he'll
like
understand.
a search engine.
Because he's a bloody.
It's just Google.
It's just Google. There's been no revolutions made. It's just Google.
Where did AI come from?
I believe.
Sorry, this is an episode of like teach Shane about AI because I got no fucking idea. All I know is that one day it wasn't there, and the next day it was.
Yeah. Well.
Where did the timeline split? Where did it split? We're on a path to the golden age. Everyone was going to become enlightened, and somehow we've just divulged into TikTok and AI.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That's okay. That's not what this episode is about. This episode is on a timeline, and we were heading to talk about AI and wargaming.
Enlightenment.
Enlightenment.
All right. After this episode, can you tell me about AI?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a chimp as well.
True.
Actually, if you're a chimp, then I'm a baboon. So, how do you feel about that? I want your immediate
I think
thoughts.
it's wrong.
Okay. So, I want
I
to
think
know
if I'm a chimp, you're more like
Oh, here we go.
the chimp from Planet of the Apes when you're like, apes together strong.
Yeah, well, at least I can talk, fucking chimp.
Exactly. That's my point.
All right, okay. All right, I've proved your point.
I'm not attacking you.
Well, I want to know. 8 minutes is the episode. No, 6 minutes 42 is the episode. Okay. What are some ways that you feel? Let's start with a negative.
Sure.
AI could negatively impact wargaming.
Yep. I think that people will utilize AI more than they should, which then in turn, at the moment, it's currently plagiarizing a lot of stuff.
Sure.
I think that can have a negative effect on people's work. I feel like it takes away from digital artists to a point, you know, where people might have paid someone, even if it's just on Fiverr, some money to create some art for their game. They now just run AI for a day,
That happens.
pump out some stuff, which I get AI as placeholders for the most part,
Yeah.
but I still feel like there is an art form, which is, you know, the digital art, which is kind of being lost, not lost, not yet, but like pushed aside maybe.
Yeah. You talk about AI and art, and that's such a massive one.
Because that's all I know that it does. Just like, AI, can you please make me a photo of a dog eating ice cream? And they just do that.
They.
Yeah, I mean, the people at Google.
Yeah, of course. They do it so well, the people at Google.
Yeah, the people at AI.
You see, the AI guys.
Yeah.
The Silicon Valley people. The fucking tech bros.
Yeah, the tech
It's
bros.
just a bunch of tech bros
Right.
in a room.
They got their
emailing them.
Ray-Ban glasses with cameras in them.
Yeah.
They drive some kind of Tesla that's not even out yet.
And they're sitting on a laptop in a beanbag
That's the guy.
in a very empty room.
So empty, dude.
And you're emailing them. You're saying, hey, can you do me this? They're like, oh, yeah, bro, of course.
Yeah.
I'm AI. I'm one of the AI guys.
That's right. That's them.
This
That's the
episode's
guys.
for you, Shane.
Thank
That's
you.
for sure.
Thank you.
That's AI and art is interesting because there's people that seem to be very ferociously opinionated on both ends of the
It's
spectrum.
the internet, dude. Everyone's ferociously opinionated on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's facts. That's the smartest thing I've ever heard that chimp say.
That's the smartest thing I've heard.
That's true. Yeah. And it's great because obviously the two arguments are boiled down very simply into a very nuanced topic. But AI art is built on existing art, thus, and there is plagiarism involved that's been proven where these some of these AI programs are literally just taking existing art from artists
Yeah.
and then you replicating their styles or whatever to create new works
Yeah.
for people at request. That's been proven that, and especially like some artists who have quite unique styles are having their designs just taken from them,
Yeah.
like as if it's public domain,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then put it anyway. And then the opposite end of the spectrum is, well, even artists themselves do that. Everything is derivative,
Inspired by.
and there's nothing new under the sun.
yeah.
So an artist who is inspired by this person and this person and this person and created something is just doing what AI is doing.
Yeah.
However, there is still, when they're creating that, it's like when you paint a miniature,
Mm-hmm.
even if you've just watched the exact recipe from Juan Hidalgo,
Yeah.
when you copy that, you're still using your combination of your life experiences, your unique brushstrokes, your existence is baked, and your own creativity, and where you decide to end. It's your own flair on something that exists, and no one would say, this is a cool mini. I'll give credit to Juan Hidalgo for you painting this mini. Your work is derivative of Juan Hidalgo's style, as an example.
Yeah, yep.
But it's your unique flavor you've put on that. And
Yeah.
so that's what makes people say AI taking all these different things.
Is no different than someone else doing it. Like a real person
It's
doing
both. It's like, it's no different than them taking it, but the counterpoint is it's very different because even if artists took all these things, they're still putting their own unique creative flair into it.
Sure.
Which AI cannot do. There is no unique part of AI.
it. Yeah.
It's like putting in like a recipe of a soup, all these different parts. AI would just be like, I put them all in and I mix them all up. Here's
And
the
there
soup.
it is.
Whereas people will be like, I mix them all up in this specific way. I mix it up. The same soup exists, but I've done it in this way because of my life experiences. I was like, I just felt like I should have cooked it for 6 minutes and 13 instead of whatever the recipe is. So there's the human element involved. Anyway, so that's kind of the two parts of AI and art.
Yep.
And I was going to bring this back to a good point, but I haven't. It's just, that's what people think. That's good. We're objective.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I like your stance that you alluded to, where you're like, it's good for a placeholder when you're just trying to put together a rule book and you're like, I need art in here,
Yeah.
but I don't really know what that looks like, so I'm just going to take some AI art, pop it there. Some people will just want you dead for doing that because you've stolen people's work by using AI.
I mean, yeah, but I'm not selling it.
You're not selling it. Exactly. You're not trying to profit off it.
Yeah.
So, and then when you go to make your actual rule book, you'll pay artists to actually create stuff for it, for example. So I agree with that concept. I like that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think people have started they have to differentiate. They have to say this in this rule book. They're finding themselves having to write. No, this was actually, I paid for this.
Yep.
There's no AI art in this book.
Because people are saying like, oh, that's just AI.
Yeah.
Like people are just assuming.
Imagine how it feels as an artist to like create something completely unique and be like, this is obviously AI generated.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But
Imagine.
I don't have to imagine. I've seen it. I've seen that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely places for AI and what it can do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I'm not against it. I'm merely sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
As it all unfolds.
Watching the
I
chaos.
basically peeked over and I'm just like, where am I?
Yeah. I didn't realize like this kind of porn could exist.
Crawl back into my rock.
Yeah. This is also, we should mention, like all of our episodes, this is a conversation
Yeah.
that we want you involved in. So if you're listening
Absolutely.
going, oh man, what are you talking about? The human experience. Why would that even matter? It's just better if like people are forced to create more unique things instead of being direct. Or if you're like, no, here's something like you were trying to say, but smarter.
Yeah.
Pop it in the comments, jump in the Discord.
That's
let us
what we
know.
want to hear.
That's what we need to. Otherwise, we'll just continue to be like a echo chamber of chimpness, a zoo. This place is a zoo.
Yep.
And you're the zookeeper, Churchy. That's why you're in. We call it the void. It's the other side of the pane of glass.
We don't know what's beyond there.
Yeah.
All we can see is the back door of the office.
Yeah. And occasionally we get fed with beers.
This bucket just comes down from the ceiling with like a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Then we throw shit at the window.
So, yeah, well, this whole podcast is us throwing shit and seeing what sticks,
Flinging
right?
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was very interested to think about AI and large language models or whatever it's called,
Sure.
and how they generate rules. As a person that
yeah.
likes to make rule books and then never do anything with them.
You're a rule smith.
I'm a rule smith. I rule. Get it? Everyone, help me. So I was thinking, and I'm trying to think far in the future.
Sure.
Because the newest ChatGPT, for example, 4.0, I think it is, it just feels like it's a huge leap, even with the way that it could so quickly convert. Like it doesn't actually know what you're saying out of your voice, which is interesting to me. here's what you're saying, converts it to text,
Yeah.
then uses that text as its text
Wait,
prompts.
hang on. Do you actually speak to it?
I speak to it all the time.
You don't type to it. You speak to it.
I do both. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. At work, so I don't look like a crazy person, I'll type to it. I'll
Sure.
be like, and then the second like my assistant leaves the office, I'll be like, hey, yo, what I was trying to say is you're doing it wrong. So
Does it say, don't yell at me, I'm trying?
yeah, it feels like it's trying to say that. And that's why it's intelligent.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's imagine it had unlimited knowledge of all the rule books of wargaming and also understood the nuance of what people are looking for in rule books of wargaming.
Yeah.
Just like it is now for art, where it's just saturating the market with art.
Yeah.
Readily available art for people.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was doing the same thing for rule books? Like, what if it got to the point where, not what if it got to the point, what about when it gets to the point where
Yeah.
you could just be like, hey, create me a rule book. I want to play a game using these miniatures. I want the game to maybe be like sci-fi where I fight against these things. I want it to be solo and I want the goal of the game to sort of be this. And it's like, brr, here's a rule book campaign. You're like, oh, I prefer to use D20s. It's like, no problem. Brr.
Yeah.
You know? And then my fear of that is that you think about the Wargame Vault now and all the people creating their unique rules
Yeah. Well, like incredible rules created by really talented people.
where they use community input where they're like, hey, I've got
Yeah.
these rules. What do you think? And they work with their Discord to create this book and then they launch it and
Yep.
they keep adding to it and it's their entirety for
Yep.
so many months of the year. It becomes a part of their job, a part of their life.
And like people like treat these things as like tiny little passion projects that just grow to incredible works of art in a way.
Yeah.
Can that be smashed out in 15 minutes by an AI guy?
No, it could be smashed out in 13 seconds, you know?
There you go.
Yeah. And to the point where I imagine it will get very hard to differentiate between the two.
Yeah.
And even if people are like, oh, if there was legislation or some sort of directive that was like, oh, you have to, if you create something that's 90% AI, you have to make that, you can't profit off that, whatever. Eventually, it'll get so good that people will stop caring. They'll be like, oh, for the first 5 years, we cared and we wanted people to get paid for their work. But now we just want readily available, easily accessible, cheap things.
It's like
Because
someone who like painted with oil and canvas.
Yeah.
And then Photoshop came along.
Yeah.
People are like, no, I want like the real deal.
Yeah, I want that shit off Etsy. I want the cheap one.
Yeah.
Because we do that now, you know. We go to Kmart and we buy the cheap thing.
Yeah.
Because, we can't afford it. We don't understand why we would spend $60 on a toaster when we could spend $15. It's a toaster. We know it's going to work.
Yeah.
Our friend had the same one for 10 years. It works.
Yeah.
We don't care if that has implications economically for other countries or whatever. We want the cheap thing.
Yeah.
So eventually we'll do the same thing with rules where we're just like, oh, well, yeah, this is made by AI and yeah, I should probably buy the $20 rule book from that dude.
Yeah.
But also this one's free
Yeah.
and it has more specifically what I'm after. So I'll just do that.
Yeah.
And so that's my fear for how it could impact our wargaming sphere. Also, the sheer quantity could completely saturate the market and then finding actual new designers,
Yeah.
impossible.
Near impossible. Yeah. Yep.
Just like the App Store. Finding like actual apps.
I gave up looking on the App Store. Too many Clash of Clans clones.
Yeah, that's it. It's so hard to find the original Clash of Clans. And you probably never would have if there had been all those clones before the actual original.
Oregano.
So that was one thing I feared. Great. I think that's the biggest thing I fear for is the people making books.
Yep.
And just what that would look like in even 5 years.
Yeah.
Let alone 10.
So you fed information to ChatGPT and it made you a rule book.
It did, but I want to talk about the positives first.
Okay, sure.
Because there are some positives.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's say you are one of the, like using it as a tool
Yeah.
currently is insane and will get better. So, for example, say you're making a rule book, Shane, and let's say Ivan, actually, someone better.
Yeah, like
Ivan
the
from
best.
Nordic Weasel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say he has 100 hours in a year or let's say 100 hours in, I don't know, 6 months
Sure.
to work on a game because maybe previously he had a full-time job or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he would spend hours every night. And so in 100 hours, currently with his own limitations, he could make a game that looks like X.
Yeah.
Let's use 5 parsecs as an example.
Perfect. Good example.
Let's say
Solid
100
choice.
hours went into 5 parsecs
Yeah.
and we got what we got
Yeah.
in first edition. Let's say third edition.
That's a lot.
It's a lot,
That's a
right?
lot to make in 100 hours.
Do you know how much more that could have been if we flash forward, we take Ivan,
Yeah.
we put him in 5 years from now,
I don't think you like that.
and we'd say, probably not. And
You'd
we'd
be like,
say,
"What, 5 years ago."
yeah. I want my time back. Time isn't worth money. Sorry, Ivan, you've been teleported. You don't have a decision. We choose this shit.
For 5 years, your family wondered where you went.
Yeah, and where you went into the future just to create the game you already made in the past.
Sure.
Yeah. But you know, like say you could create 5 parsecs in 100 hours
Yeah.
with AI in the future.
Yeah.
And moving forward, that 100 hours will give you a more robust rule set
Okay. Yeah.
because you can use AI to play test balance.
Sure.
You could say, all right, here's my rule book as it stands. What does it look like in this scenario? Let's give me like 4 people against 4 vent crawlers.
Yeah.
What does that look like? They've got these weapons. Okay, let's say their combat score or increased by 1 and they're still fighting against those 4 vent crawlers. What does that look like? What if their combat score was increased by 2 and they fought those same,
Sure.
Okay, I see it gets to this point and I need to increase it so I could bake that into my rules. So instead of play testing for tens of hours,
Yeah.
in 5 minutes, you've got a picture.
Sure.
And the same could be true when you're like, all right, here's my rule book. How could I use all of those rules to write a new scenario based on this? And suddenly now the game, which doesn't have any scenarios, like self-contained scenarios,
Yeah. Yeah.
has 20.
Yeah.
And it was done in an hour or less. Mm-hmm. And then you go through and you personalize it a little bit, but you've already done the personalization, and that's the 90 hours you put into the rule set. You spend the last 10 doing extra content.
Yeah.
So I feel like content per minute goes up exponentially
Sure.
when using AI as a tool.
I can see that.
And so I feel like that's a positive because we as the consumer get more content.
Yeah.
They as the creator get to make more content, and it goes from being 100% their own to 95% their own, but 400% more content.
Yeah.
Thus more value, making it more profitable for them.
And I guess you could use the AI product as building blocks. You can like either rename or reword or rewrite the things that it spits out
Facts.
to be more your own.
Yeah.
But then still use the bones of the prompt of the response
Yeah.
to be build upon.
And I feel like there is a sweet spot where you, as a designer, there are so many hours you can put into a game before selling it at X price
Yeah.
to 1,000 people doesn't become worth.
Yeah.
And I feel like AI just helps that along because you can do so much more play testing. Not right now, the play testing is garbage. But I'm talking about in the future.
Sure. Yeah.
And how AI might affect wargaming in the future.
Yeah.
I feel like you look at so many games we play, Star Wars Shatterpoint, rule day 1 they had to amend a core rule of the game.
Cover. Yeah.
Cover and how that works with hunker
Yeah.
tokens and all that stuff. They had to day 1 do that, and that's a example of they clearly didn't play test
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
I would say,
At all.
I mean,
Or they weren't playtest by like experienced wargamers.
I don't know. It was either not at all.
Isn't cover the first kind of
Right.
thing you think about?
The fact that it was picked up in demo games, so
Yeah.
people were playing demo games of this game and going, "Oh, this doesn't really work," and they're like, "Oh, we fixed it. Day 1, there's an errata."
Yeah.
Don't look what's in the rule book. It's like obviously there's a huge volume of demo games being played worldwide at the moment,
Yeah.
but like this feels like it would have been picked up in 20 games.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they've got deadlines and people breathing down the necks. They got Asmodee going, you got to release this by this day.
Corporate, man. Corporate's on their backs.
The bloody corporate fat cats. And so they could have uploaded that rule book and said and figured that out a lot earlier. We look at like even 40K. They make these small changes which have trickle effects that end up meaning this faction's broken because of these few things they've implemented.
One rule.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
rule to rule them all. Whereas that AI could help playtest these things at a higher. They could just run simulations so quick. You
Yeah.
don't even have to playtest a full game. You're doing a full game's worth of playtesting in mere minutes.
Yeah.
So they could just roll through these situations and be like, oh, if we tweaked this, what would this look like?
Sure.
And so that's a way that I feel like it could improve wargaming as a whole. Because if games are getting play tested more and more before release, then we're getting a finer tuned product
Yes.
as a consumer.
Yeah.
And I want you to imagine this.
I'm imagining.
Imagine this.
I'm primed, ready to imagine whatever you have to say.
This is the strength of AI
Okay.
in the future.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Hey, man, I've seen iRobot. I know what AI can do.
Something's wrong with the robots. Remember when he slapped that guy? That was not cool.
That wasn't cool.
didn't
I'm
like
thinking
that.
like iRobot. Like, did he slap a guy?
No, I didn't like that at all.
He tackled a robot and took a purse.
Yeah, he kind of did.
It
the
had
same
her
thing to Chris
inhaler.
Rock. Yeah. What? That's not okay. So
The
that's
robot
the
was
problem with
saving the
AI.
lady.
Oh. Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about. I want you to imagine this, right? You have a fully AI. Let's use Parsecs as an example. Fully
Can I
AI.
call the AI Sunny?
Fully AI assisted Parsecs that we're going to call Sunny for some reason.
Sure.
Just like iRobot. Yeah. I want you to imagine you go, and now you're not typing this, you're talking to
Yeah.
this because it's
Hey,
future
Sunny.
Gen. Hey, Sunny.
Yeah.
I want to go to a new planet with my crew. And let me know what happens when we land.
Yeah.
The Steel Sables, what was your crew called?
The tunnel the tunnel snakes.
The Tunnel Snakes arrive on this planet.
Yeah.
This planet looks like this. When you land, you're greeted by this, and it tells a story as you're playing. What's your main chick's name? The captain?
Tamsin.
Tamsin arrives at the administration desk and is denied a visa. Do you do this or do you do this? I'll do this. Okay, Tamsin does this, and
Hang
this
on.
thing happens.
So it's a Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure novel.
Kind of. It better. It's Parsecs.
It's Parsecs.
What I'm saying
R.L.
is AI
Stein,
is
come on,
perfect
man.
for Parsecs.
Sure.
And then you arrive, and it's like, all right, so you're on this planet. Here's the situation. Here's where your crew's at. What do you want to do with your crew tasks? All right, well, I'll do this, and Tamsin will go explore. This person will do this person will do this.
Hang on. But I'm playing a miniatures game. I'm not playing a text-based RPG.
Hold that thought. Great point. Hold that thought.
What is this? Like Windows DOS?
So Tamsin goes to do this thing and finds this thing, and then this thing happens, and you're rewarded with this thing. Tamsin takes it back to the ambition, and this thing happens, and these people rejoice, and this thing happens.
Sure.
Next, and so a story is being told,
Yeah.
and then you go, all right, I want to take a Patreon mission. You go downtown to one of your known patrons who gives you the mission to go to this thing and do this thing and do this thing. Here's who you're fighting. Here's the weapons that they have. Here's how many there are. This is happening in minutes.
Sure.
We recommend using these models or whatever miniatures you want because you're fighting vent crawlers.
Yeah.
They've attacked this thing, and if this doesn't happen, then this will happen.
Sure.
Okay, cool. You roll it. Oh, and by the way, here's your character sheets because I already know what crew you have and what weapons they're equipped with and whatever.
Yeah.
Did you want to change any equipment? Oh, yeah, actually, I'd like to change the blast pistol I have to that hunting rifle I just got from exploring. No problem. Here's your crew sheets. Would you like to print these? Yes, please. Da-da-da. Here's your enemy sheets. Would you like to print those?
Yeah.
I feel like that I'm actually going to dominate that. Can you just add 2 more enemies? No problem. Here you go. Print those off. Done. Go to the table. Play your game. Now, you said I'm playing a miniatures game, not an RPG. I don't know. You're saying some chip shit. You know what the beauty
Flinging
is?
shit at you.
Yeah. It's sticking. It's sticking to my face. You know what the beauty is?
Yeah.
If you don't want to do this, Shane,
Yeah.
you don't have to. You can still play Parsecs.
I can.
This only adds to the game for those people like me who I want to play the tabletop game and I want to tell a story.
Yeah.
But I also love having a story being told to me and being forced to respond to that story.
You know, you could play with a DM like Ollie.
Exactly.
He's intelligent.
Could you imagine
artificial,
playing an RPG with an AI DM?
I couldn't.
Wow.
Not
You're
well.
not ready
No,
for the
I
future.
just, I'm not. I'm so ready for 1995. I just feel like it's just the The human connection.
Yeah, and that is
Right?
something that it could never replace.
No.
When we were in COVID, there is a reason that wargaming went like skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because A, you could do it at home, you can hobby yourself, but there's always the element, and the same reason board games are bigger than ever
Yeah.
is because the human element of getting everyone around and playing together
Yeah.
is something that civilization will always crave for.
Yeah.
So that's a positive in AI, is that it's not going to completely kill that.
Yeah.
Because it could never, and it will never, because we will try and fight through that, and we'll use it to assist, and we'll be like, what are the barriers to wargaming that we want to get rid of, and we'll use AI to overcome those.
Sure.
And what are the things about wargaming we like?
Yeah.
We'll use AI to enhance those, and the rest of the shit we're just gonna have to fight through.
So you're leaning on the pro AI stance
Nah, I think we should burn this shit to the ground.
before it gets
And I would rather the apocalypse. I want to live in a post-apocalyptic society where we have to barter,
imagine.
and money is gone, and banks don't exist, and there's no governments, and we rule ourselves.
I can only get so around.
I would rather that than ChatGPT in 3 years. But alas, if we're here, I will embrace our overlords. Yeah,
Oh man,
imagine.
what a world we live in.
Yeah, chaos.
The future is now, old man.
Well, it's not, because I'm not going to go into this because of time, but the goal was I wanted to see if it could currently write me a rule book in under 10 pages.
Is it garbage?
It took me so long to get 4 pages
Okay.
of legible.
Can I read the first sentence?
Yeah, okay. I don't know what it says.
Introduction. Welcome to Galactic Conquest, a sci-fi tabletop wargame where you command fleets, manage resources, and engage in epic space battles to dominate the galaxy. Is that the prompt that you gave it?
No, it's not. In fact, I actually have the prompt I gave it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was interesting that it went to a space game
Sure.
called Galactic Conquest. Come on.
So original.
Originality, yeah. Yeah. I said, create a tabletop wargame rulebook. Assume that anyone playing the game already has the required miniatures at a 28 mil scale.
I don't have 28 mil scale spaceships.
Have a, yeah, I know, right? I did tell it to assume.
28 mil scale frigate, please.
I said, have a simple paragraph or two for lore and then keep the rest rules. I intend to play this game as it's written, so make it as comprehensive to follow as possible. Keep the whole book to under 10 pages and export to PDF. And you know what it created? You know how I've been working on a war game and I've been like copying, pasting some tables in? It created my war game. Because it remembers what you say in other chats.
Sure.
It was like, here's a game set in a fantasy post-apocalypse, and I'm like, hang on a minute. And it was like, you can play as 12 factions. It listed my factions. I was like, what the fuck? You stole this from me.
Plagiarized my own shit.
This is my game. I didn't tell you to make my game.
That's AI.
And I said, this game has nothing to do with the game I have been working on. Please ignore everything you've learned from our conversation about the game I'm working on. Make this completely your own creation. The theme could be anything, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, fantasy, whatever else. Completely unique creation from yourself. And it created a one-page vague idea of a game.
Okay.
It said, this is a game, you have ships and there's factions and this is the stuff you do.
But bones to build off.
I was like, remember I said this has to be a self-contained, I want to use this book to play a game. I need to know everything. And so it created a game where it was like, all right, you've got 100 points. It's like, here we go. It's like, you can pick all these different ships and all these different weapons and then do all these different things. And I'm like, okay, but like, how much do the ships cost? Like, you told me I have 100 points and then that's it.
You just have 100 points, dude.
Yeah, you got 100 points, figure it out.
100 points, you win.
And I was like, I cannot play a game with that rulebook as it has no ships or stats or weapons. I need a rulebook that I could play a complete game from.
All right, AI's not there yet.
Exactly. And so then but soon.
But soon.
And so about 8 prompts later, I got a game that has, this is actually a game you could play this.
Sure.
You just have to like fill in a few, because it says the Zorgon Empire is brutal and aggressive conquerors. But I like how it has the Synth Syndicate, autonomous AI with superior logic. And I'm like, if I've learned anything from
They're
this,
self-aware.
yeah, then it's not superior logic.
boasting.
Yeah, with the best logic you've ever seen in your life. Oh my God, the logic is incredible. Oh, so
learn this
sexy.
logic.
Yeah.
Got so much logic right now.
So much logic. You can fit so much logic in here.
Slaps AI.
Anyway,
I'd slap an AI.
you would. I know you would. You would relish the opportunity. Anyway, so AI wargaming, is it good as it bad? I don't fucking know.
All we know is it's not there yet. But give it 6 months, we're probably all doomed. So we'll be living in that AI.
So enjoy 6 months of content while you can.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about AI every week as they update ChatGPT and create more rules. But yeah, that's the takeaway.
Yeah.
You're right. It's not there yet.
Yeah.
And there are some ways where it could positively impact wargaming.
Yeah.
And these are quite big things. Like, these are big implications, I suppose. Like, a massively saturated rule book place is a horrible dystopian universe.
Yeah.
But also, like, a completely AI assisted, if you want, wargaming scene is also pretty cool. So
That could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well-
what do y'all think?
Yeah, let us know in the comments or check out hobbyhomies.com for a link to our Discord. Let us know in there in the old hobby lobby. We can talk about AI and wargaming and other stuff too.
Yeah, I was thinking about, just quickly, I won't take too long, I promise. I was thinking about War Surge, right? And how it's a point system where you create stuff. What if that was a system that instead was created by AI?
Sure.
And you were just like, oh, I want to use 5 Skaven and I want it to be 200 points of AI points and I want to fight against this thing. And it's like,
Sure.
And I want them to play kind of like this. And then it's like, all right, here you go, cool.
Yeah.
And then you could do it.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because it's like, eventually with enough time, we're not talking about ifs, but whens.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me anyway.
It's inevitable.
No, I am inevitable.
Not you. AI.
I'm also inevitable though. So are you.
Are we though?
Anyway. We'd like to thank our patrons who are not inevitable, but just an added bonus.
Yes.
An absolute bonus to our lives. We wouldn't trade AI for you.
No, I wouldn't trade AI for anything. But you guys are better than AI.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
AI hasn't given us nothing. You guys give us money.
Every month.
Every single month. Every singular month that goes by.
Yep.
We are better because of you. Thank you. That's crazy.
For $2 a month, you can get early access to videos like this, battle reports, and other stuff that we put up on this channel and our second channel.
We have 2.
We have 2.
Thanks
Check
to
out
you.
that. If you can make sure you're subscribed to both, comment, like, do all this stuff on the videos. It actually helps a lot.
Yeah.
It helps spread us around.
Yeah, we like being spread.
Around.
So if you could spread us,
Around.
just come in here and spread us.
Around. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, as much as you can.
So big shout out to these legends. Of course, we've got all the homies and the main homies. Sorry, I'm usually spieling over this kind of thing.
Yeah, you are.
And of course, legendaries. We have MJ, Moose, Fatboy, Axe, Annex. One real one. That's you, Numa. And the goats, Burnsy, Fallen Dinosaur, Gridlock, and Journeyman.
We got the OG homies, Black Apollo, Alco, Churchy, Legend, thanks for being back, Rad Rooster, Ollie Hockers, Penny Aggro, Don White Don, Pure Blind, Jackson V, Nathan A, Mini Wargaming, Oz Wargaming, sorry, Mini Walmart, Oz Wargaming, and Big Roach. Oz Wargaming, thank you for all your cool shit. Please check out ozwargaming.com.au.
Yes.
Please check out hobbyhomies.com. .com?
.com.
We got that domain.
We did, dude. We are worldwide. Call us Mr. Worldwide.
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely. So continue to spread us and we'll see you on the Discord.
Around. So tell me about AI, dude.
Woo! Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love.